Hello everyone, welcome to Foreigner Farming in the Philippines. We had a flat tire on the red van last night. And Tata and I were actually stranded for about an hour while we waited for Marcel to come and get us. So, as usual, I'm a little bit behind on getting out of here. So I'm just going to leave Tata here to change the tire, and I'm going to go to the shrimp pond and begin the water. And Tata's going to change that tire and then drive the van back down here. As you can see, we got quite a little bit of rain last night, that little squall that came through, and there's still water 18 hours later or so. Both those front tires are bald, and I guess I should back up a little bit. We brought the spare. Somehow Tata had removed the spare and it was at the house. It wasn't with the van. Don't ask me. So we brought the spare back with us, and he's going to change it. There's John and Monina's place. I just want to get the water in this pond and make sure it's full tonight. One of the reasons why we got that flat is they brought in some truckloads of dirt and just left it here, and it's like, see, this is what I got to deal with. Now this right here was the old truckload of dirt that they just dumped there and didn't spread out, and now it looks like they've got a new little mini dump of rock here that they just dumped in the road and didn't spread out. So now I've got to hop over it, and some of those rocks are sharp, and that paper thin tire we had on the red van going over that hump right there last night poked a hole in that tire. I would assume that's what it did it. I'm not sure. Well, I'm back at the shrimp pond. Tata is changing our flat tire that we had on the red van last night. I just came on in because I want to get water going back into this pond as soon as possible. It did lose about, if I can get it to focus. I don't know, my camera's acting funny. It looked like it lost about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches of depth. And so we got no choice. We're just going to have to fill it with mud, fill these with mud after we get the pond as full as we can get it, and babysit it tonight, and knock those shims in as the tide goes down. That means we're going to be here probably about 8 hours unless we want to come back right at midnight. And I'll talk to Tata about it and see what he wants to do. But I'm gonna get these boards up as best I can. I don't know if I can do this by myself. These are pretty heavy. I don't know if I can get them lifted up and locked into place. This was the whole thing of wanting to use this board here, this gate. See, I lifted that out easily and opened it up. Now getting these lifted out, that's a whole nother ball of wax, but I'm going to give it a shot. All right, well, I was able to get the locks out and get them lifted. I just lifted this one all the way out because it's so narrow at the top, the boards themselves, that I couldn't get a lock in it, not by myself. And this one's too heavy to take out by myself. I almost blew my left arm out again lifting that one out. There's no way I'm gonna. This one weighs about 15 kilos more than the other one. It's much thicker wood. So the water's going back in and the gates are up. Or I guess I should put that, the gates are up and the water is going back in. So we lost about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches of water through the low tide. So what's going to happen is that we're going to lower these back down, and this isn't acting like, you know, it was supposed to be a 1.9 meter tide yesterday, and that little stick right there is how high it was at its highest. That 1.9 meter tide before, there's Tatai, there was water where Tatai was walking. And this is only supposed to be in 1.8 meter tide, so, and that river's not flowing very fast out there. So I don't even know if we're going to be able to get enough water in this, but there's not going to be, the tides go lower for the next 10 days or so. So we're just going to have to deal with it, with what we got. It's going to get as deep as it's going to get tonight. And what we're going to do is put the mud back in it, and we're going to have to stay here and babysit it, and lock it in as the tide goes down on this left hand side. Lock that gate in and make sure we're not losing mud, and replace the mud if we are. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight. Alright, well that right there is what we're going to get out of this tide. The water is almost completely stopped moving. Little swirls and stuff you can see in it. Just a tiny amount of water movement now. So we're within probably 1/16 of an inch of what we're going to get. Not as high as what we had hoped for. It's actually deeper now than it was when we left last night. So we did gain a couple inches. Just missing that tide yesterday kind of threw a monkey wrench in things, but since it was leaking anyway, doesn't really matter. Tatai was wanting to drop these boards 10 minutes ago, but I still see water coming in, so I'm not quite ready yet. The movement of the river has pretty much stopped. I mean, it's barely moving from left to right, so this is probably just equalizing the level of the pond to the level of the river. So within 5 minutes we're going to shut this up, and we're going to drop these boards and put mud in it. Oh goody. Alright, it's almost dark. We're leaving. We've got mud in it. I don't know how well this is going to show up on video, but there is mud in between those boards. So the tide has stopped. Probably could have got another 1/4 inch out of it, but oh well. We're going to come back at low tide, which I think I'm going to double check. I think it's around 11 p.m. or 12 a.m. But we're going to come back at low tide and check this, because we can't have it leaking now. We're all in. So thank you, everyone. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.